GearNetwork.com.
This is a Gear Network production.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Gear Network presents the Football Talk Weekly Podcast with John Cimino and Brandon Gorell. And now, here's John.
Week 11 here on the Football Talk Weekly Podcast is all up in your ear holes, whether you're listening on Spreaker or iTunes or Google Play Music. Here we are. We're back together again. Brandon, how's it going?
It feels great.
Feels great
to be back.
Yes.
After a somber week.
It was a somber week, and I'll tell you, I did the. Oh, by the way, John Cimino here, at the JC Money on the Twitter.
I think you know who you are.
Yeah, I gotta be.
I am the eyesore, Mr. Brandon Gorell.
All right, thank you very much for that. Okay, we are. So you want to finish up what we're sponsored by?
Shopgear.com.
Thank you.
Holiday seasons are coming.
Yes.
Black Friday is next Friday.
Yes.
So get all your holiday shopping done. Word on the street is that vintage Nintendo everyone's trying to get will be back in stock by Black Friday with limited supplies.
You should get it.
So hang out on Amazon and refresh your link.
Yeah.
And don't buy one from one of those asshats that bought it and are selling it at a minimum of $238.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Just
Shopgear.com.
Shopgear.com. $60 for that Nintendo Mini. All right, we are back. So do I even go there?
No, don't even. Let's not do that.
All right, let's
just do football.
Let's not do that. Let's talk football.
Unless we want to talk UFC, but we can do that later.
Apologize to absolutely no one. But anyways, guess who's not apologizing to anyone? Jared Goff, the number one overall pick, finally getting a start for the mighty Los Angeles Rams, who played Brandon in the most incredible barn burner of a contest that you would ever have seen. If you missed the Rams and Jets last Sunday, Brandon,
it was a work of art.
9-6. What a hard-fought 9. The Rams did not score a touchdown.
Think about it. This was a different 9-6. Do you remember that Packers and Jets game that was 9-6?
Yes.
Back at the Meadowlands, and it was like super windy.
Yes.
And like Favre was throwing it all over the field, and Pennington was throwing it all over the place, but nobody can score, and it was a 9-6 final.
Yes.
That was a fun game.
Yes.
The game you watched on Sunday was absolutely miserable.
I fell asleep.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man.
Like 2 or 3 times I fell asleep. I was excited because I really wanted to see Bryce Petty.
Yeah.
And the first half was great.
He's not ready.
The second half of that game was just absolutely unwatchable. But nevertheless.
I mean, he's going to get the vanilla playbook. He doesn't have a lot of stuff. They probably didn't expect at any point he was going to have to do anything this season. Mm-hmm. But this has not been a good season for the New York Jets.
It is absolutely one of
It's not been a good season for a lot of teams.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But nonetheless, Jared Goff, number one overall pick, finally will get the start.
It'll be fun to watch.
I will be tuning in to see that. That will be interesting. Here is another story. It's sort of a changing of the guard, as we all know. In Big D, Tony Romo.
Speaking of Big
Tony
D.
Romo concedes the starting quarterback job, handled it with the utmost class.
Yeah, you'd expect that from him.
Did it very classy, saying flat out, there's something special going on here. I don't want to interfere, and I don't want to be involved with that. And I commend him for that, because we've seen it, Brandon, where there have been other quarterbacks that have gone straight diva and been like, oh, no, this is my team. No, I'm the starter. No, trade me or whatever.
Right.
And Tony Romo is not doing that.
Tony wants that ring one way or the other.
Even
if he's not starting, he'll be fine with it.
Yep. Cowboys are 8-1. Dak Prescott over the season has been pretty good, all things considering. 187 of 280, 2,339 yards, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, overall QBR of 106.2.
Yeah, he's playing pretty well. I think, though, he is definitely helped out by having Zeke in the backfield. If Zeke goes down with some kind of injury, I don't know if he can carry him.
That offensive line is
pretty really good. And
I would almost say that whole offensive line.
It's not like the old Hogs,
right? But
it's pretty darn close. I mean,
collectively that offensive line should be considered the MVP.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, they have been like the key part to that team. I mean, not only getting the run game going, which has allowed the pass game to open up, but protecting Dak Prescott and not allowing him to have to, take a lot of hits and get rattled and get frazzled, throwing back there in his rookie season, trying to carry one of the most storied franchises in the world that has Super Bowl aspirations every year, even though they have no business being in that conversation half the time. Yeah, that offensive line it's really good. I mean, you send blitzes at them and it just doesn't matter. I mean, they still eke it out and they still protect, and it's kind of scary, but at the same time, I'm just a lot of people have talked about the rookie wall, and Zeke looked like he kind of hit it until that last run.
Yep, he
was under 100 yards. He was kind of putting along with 22 carries, and he had only 88 yards. And I was like, okay, that's 4 per carry, but it's still not his greatest performance, and he looked like slowed down. And Pittsburgh's defense is not very good to begin with this year.
They are not the Steelers' defense of old.
But he got that late run, so everything was all taken care of. But, I mean, they should have lost that game.
How about, speaking of that game, and it's a good segue, how about the end of that game? I mean, that was ridiculous. About, whether or not you like the Steelers or the Cowboys or whatever, if you are a football fan, certainly... If you are,
it's one of the few moments we've had this year that's been actually fun to watch.
Right. It's certainly if you are behind the scenes where you're talking about, why are people not watching the games anymore? Why are this? Why are that? The NFL needed a game like that, an ending like that, and that was I couldn't believe it. It was at the bowling alley when it was going down.
Yeah,
and they scored Pittsburgh scored their touchdown. You thought it was over.
Yep.
And then
I thought it was over, too. I was 43 seconds. I put my phone back in my pocket and continued to rake leaves.
Yeah. And then when the run happened, it just like everybody in the bowling alley was like, whoa. I mean, it was one of those moments that it was like,
because how often does that happen? You know?
It doesn't happen.
Nobody runs with that much time left on the clock, and they're not going to take that chance. I mean, they knew they were in field goal range, and they could score. And a lot of people are saying Pittsburgh kind of let them score because they wanted to get the ball back at some point, but that wasn't going to get the ball back to do anything, really. I mean, you would have been better off trying to stop them and get the field goal attempt and all the wacky things that have happened with field goals, especially on that field.
Yep.
You would have better taken your chances. But the fact that Pittsburgh's defense allowed them to get to that point with only 43 seconds and one timeout left is pretty embarrassing if you're the Steelers defense.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I mean, James Harrison summed it up the best. We are terrible on defense. We have a garbage defense right now. And he's not playing, so...
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. Side note, you just triggered a memory here, and you talked about crazy field goals, the stuff that's been happening with field goals and extra points. Blair Walsh no longer a Viking.
Yeah.
Just saying. All right. Staying in that division, though, the Green Bay Packers claim ex-Seahawk Christine Michael. I have no idea how to say his first name. It looks like Christine. It's probably Kristen. I have no idea. But anyways, he started 7 games this season so far. He started 7 games. He's played in 9. He averages 4 yards a carry. He has a total of 565 yards and 7 total touchdowns right now. Brandon, your team, the Green Bay Football Packers, desperately need a running back.
Well,
does this guy help?
James Starks looked pretty good last week. Unless Christine Michael can cover, then it'll help a little bit. But he can't cover, so we're still going to be in trouble on that defensive side of the ball. I mean, Tennessee ran up the score on us. Our defense looked miserable. They got no pressure on Mariota. DeMarco Murray was running just free everywhere.
Yeah.
Every time they got him to a third down, they blew it.
He looked like Dallas Cowboys. DeMarco
well, he's
Murray.
been looking like that all season.
Yeah.
I have him on my fantasy football team, and he's popping me 17 to 20 points a game. That's pretty good.
Good deal.
It was embarrassing to watch. Their defense is pretty ragged and beat up. Clay Matthews didn't start again. Quentin Rollins didn't start again. Sam Shields didn't start again. They're just very thin on defense. The depth is being tested. Our top tackler, Jake Ryan, got hurt on special teams in the second series of the game. Mm-hmm. It was just a bad effort all around. The offense at moments looked dominant again. But again, they had to play catch up like most of the game. I mean, they were down 28-7 at one point, and
as a Packers fan,
yeah, I'm a Packers fan.
How do you address the reports or people talking even? Mm-hmm. Has the team lost faith in Aaron Rodgers? Has the team lost... Shut up, phone. Has the team lost faith...
They have a silent button.
Yes, I know. in Mike McCarthy. Has the team or has management lost faith in... What's going on in Green Bay?
What's going on in Green Bay is... I want to say it's not Rodgers. A lot of people are saying, oh, he's missing throws, but he's trying too hard. Because guys are not getting open, and he's trying to fit balls in where they just don't fit sometimes. Or, I know you're laughing like a 2-year-old again.
Sorry, that juvenile humor of mine.
That's not how it works, by the way. So, I've been thinking this too. I kind of feel like watching some of their body languages out there. They get down a touchdown or two, and they all got the slumping shoulders. That, to me, sounds like the coach has lost the room. And it's nothing to do with Mike McCarthy. It's the fact that they've been hearing the same message for so long. A lot of those guys have been on that team for pretty much the whole tenure of Mike McCarthy, like Clay Matthews, Aaron Rodgers. Some of the defensive players are newer, but they've been around long enough to be playing for Mike McCarthy. I think Mike's message is getting stale. He's not innovating on offense. Teams know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They don't do things creatively to try to get guys open. They're not throwing any rubs or screens or anything like that to get guys open. They're relying on one-on-one coverage and hoping that their receiver will beat the defensive back to get open. Mm-hmm. And that's only working 1 out of every 3 downs, it seems like.
Okay.
So it may be time for a coaching change for Mike McCarthy, but it's not because he's a poor coach, but it's because the messages got stale. Like, if you've got somebody...
So pretty much in almost a similar situation like Andy Reid with Philadelphia.
Yeah, Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Like, he's still successful. He's still getting them to the playoffs, but the message is just... It's stale. It's time for fresh blood. Sometimes, unless you've got Bill Belichick, who... I don't
know what that guy does that gets people going.
It's not only that, it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's a big part of that. Tom Brady deserves a lot of credit for that success and that continuity. Mm-hmm. They do things a certain way in New England. It doesn't matter. They don't get involved. You never see them get involved in like media wars and locker room talk and all that stuff.
Basically,
they go out and play games, right? Tom Brady gets insulted and he just smiles and says, like, oh, yeah, I played with Reggie Wayne. He's a great guy. He'll hopefully get in the Hall of Fame soon. Totally dodges the question. He doesn't want to start any flack because his focus is on the field. Mm-hmm. I think Green Bay is in a place where they're searching and they're struggling. They know how much talent they have and they're not producing at the talent level that they have. So I think that's when guys start to point fingers a bit and start to look at each other and say, you're not doing this or you're not doing that. Then you get the outside noise from guys like Greg Jennings who want to run their mouth about Aaron Rodgers again because he's salty that he's done nothing since he left there.
Can they fix this season?
This season?
Eke into the playoffs.
The only way, well, yes, because the rest of the divisions are garbage. The Minnesota Vikings came out like wildfire, and then they lose 4 in a row, and they don't look like they're going to get any better anytime soon.
No, definitely not.
The Detroit Lions are tied for first, but they're not a consistent or a good team either. You look around the rest of the divisions, 5-4, 4-6. Mm-hmm. It's not really... It's pretty wide open in the NFC, and it's wide open in a bad way because there's not really great teams rising to the occasion. The New York Giants are playing decently right now, but I still don't see them as a threat. Washington, Same deal. Washington may be the team that ekes in as well. Green Bay they got to get healthy, and they got to get that slump buster, man. I explained it on an earlier podcast what that slump buster is. They got to find that team that they go out there and just throttle. They got put up like 45 points on them, give it up 10.
Yeah. pretty much.
And that'll give them the confidence back, and they'll be like, okay, we got our swag back. We got some guys back. I think Christine Michael might be a shot in the arm for them because they'll have 2 running backs, and then they can focus on cycling out receivers and receivers just playing receiver instead of 2 of your receivers going in the backfield, possibly 3 of your receivers going in the backfield. Hopefully you can get Jared Cook back soon as well. He was supposed to be a big contributor on offense. That big body is hard to cover. He hasn't played pretty much the entire season. So I think they can, just based on the fact that things are mediocre, but they're going to have to do something on defense. They were getting torched.
All right.
Week in and week out.
Yeah.
That's your Packers talk. Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry, cheesehead haters.
Moving on from the Packers talk to some fun facts, Brandon. Fun facts.
Fun.
Did you know that Ben Roethlisberger has more wins in Cleveland than any Cleveland Browns quarterback, except for one? Do you know which one that is?
Wait. Rephrase that again. Ben Roethlisberger.
Since 1999. I forgot that part. Since 1999, Ben Roethlisberger has had more wins in Cleveland than any Browns quarterback since 1999, with the exception of whom?
I think I know this one, but I can't remember his name. He got him to the playoffs.
Starts with D.
Trent Dilfer?
No.
No, I know who you're talking about. Oh, God, I can picture him, but there's so many quarterbacks.
Derek Anderson.
Derek Anderson, yes. Backup quarterback for the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
Yeah, Derek Anderson.
Derek Anderson has a total of 10 wins in Cleveland. Ben Roethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers has 9.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Fun fact number 1. Fun fact number 2 is the Browns could have taken him 6th overall in the 2004 draft.
Right.
Instead, they took who?
Eric Crouch? I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. He's a private.
Oh, Kellen Winslow?
Yep.
They took Private Winslow instead of Big Ben?
Yep.
Ouch.
And, of course,
they didn't take Jared Goff.
And, yep.
Or Carson Wentz.
And 13 years later, Big Ben returns to Cleveland to play the 0-10.
Give it to him again.
0-10 Cleveland Browns. So, Derek Anderson, your record is very, very, very likely going to be tied.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's that.
Ouch.
Moving on to the New York Football Jets.
Yes.
Mike McCanahan, the Jets GM, says he has, quote, no regrets in signing Ryan Fitzpatrick, end quote. He also did not say whether or not Fitzpatrick will be back next season. I think you and I both know that is not going to happen.
Nope.
Todd Bowles, however, has not...
Bowles man.
Yes, he is not named a starter for Week 12 against the Patriots coming off the bye.
Ooh, mister. It really doesn't matter.
Now, that's what I was going to ask you is why is he even thinking, hey, who's the starter going to be? Is it going to be Fitz or is it going to be Petty? I mean, at this point, you're 3-7. You're on a bye. You're going to come back. You're going to get your ass handed to you by the Patriots.
Yep.
And pretty much everybody else. You lost to the Rams. You know? I mean...
Yeah.
I would think that...
Few teams have lost to the Rams this year, though.
I would think that you might as well anoint Bryce Petty the starter for the rest of the season and see what you have with him. He's only had one game, and he didn't blow everybody away, but he didn't play terrible. He managed the game pretty well until the very end. He threw one interception, but, I mean, for the most part, he managed it pretty well. He had a 99-yard drive that ended in a touchdown. That his first career touchdown pass. You know, that was... He made some rookie-like mistakes. For all intents and purposes, he's a rookie. But he made some rookie mistakes. That's expected. If Todd Bowles goes and puts Ryan Fitzpatrick in a meaningless game against the Patriots, whom, by the way... that game was flexed out of primetime.
Yeah.
So it's even more
moved
meaningless.
Green Bay and Washington there, didn't they?
Now let me ask you this.
We got to play 2 Sunday nights in a row.
That's not bad.
I don't like doing Sunday night. Walking Dead's on Sunday night.
Oh, all right.
That's tough.
Well, so Brandon, throughout the podcast this season, we've talked about, people and their unrealistic, wanting coaches fired after 2 years kind of things or whatever. But let me ask you this. In a situation that the Jets are in, complete mismanagement, 3-7, instead of, and you choose to, let's just say you choose to go with the guy that got you there in the first place, to 3-7, who leads the leagues in interceptions, cost you more games than one this year. Instead of going to your youth and working on that in hopes that next season you have something there. In a meaningless game, if he were to go to Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jets fans are calling for his head if he were to do that. Do you agree with that?
No. Because why go and have your future, maybe possible quarterback go out there and get his brains beat in by the New England Patriots? And just kind of, I don't like the fact, like, when a team gives up on a season, that they go out and like, okay, well, this guy might be our future. Well, here's 2 parts of it that causes a problem. One is if you're tanking and you're really terrible this season, what if he comes in and wins you some games? Then he goes and wins some games, and then you're 7-9, 8-8, and you're drafting in the middle. As opposed to stick with the turnover machine, and you get a really nice draft pick. Mm-hmm. And then you bring him to a fresh camp. You kind of give him, a lot of starters reps and see where he goes. And if he starts off the season bad next year, you have an idea that this is your quarterback. But when you're on a team that is falling apart, the record is tanking, and they don't look good, the effort isn't going to be that high. Mm-hmm. So you're going to stick him out there in a lose-lose situation. You're going to say, okay, you may be the future of our team, but we're going to put you out there with a bunch of guys that don't care. You're probably going to get your brains beat in, and your confidence is going to be down to nothing. Mm-hmm. I prefer, if you're going to make that change, you make it around week like 3, 4, or 5, and when you still have some kind of season to show.
Okay.
If you are completely lost on your quarterback, if you guys got 2 wins and 3 losses or 4 losses, and all those losses were based on your quarterback blowing the game for you, you make a QB switch. Maybe that's the antidote, and you guys take off and you go, 9-7.
So you're saying
10-6.
that the quarterback move essentially has come too late. When you're the Los Angeles Rams and you start Jared Goff this late, I think you're making a mistake as well. He should have started 4 weeks ago. Okay.
But Jeff Fisher's like, well, I don't want to take his panties off and, have him get out there and wet himself. So I'm going to go with Case Keenum continuously. And Case Keenum hasn't done anything to have a job anywhere except for maybe in the CFL.
Right.
But Jeff Fisher keeps... So that's why Jeff Fisher ruins quarterbacks. I mean, that's what Jeff Fisher does. He's a garbage coach. He doesn't have a feel for teams. He doesn't have a feel for the game. He just sucks.
I feel like...
So he starts his guy when the season's lost. And if he goes out and gets his head smashed in...
I feel like Jeff Fisher...
You have Joey Harrington.
That guy is so freaking weird, man. I mean, how he has continued... He's lived off of the Houston Oiler to Tennessee Titan legacy.
Yeah.
And, and Steve McNair. That's pretty much.
He was a half a yard away from having a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, imagine that. That's crazy. But, so, all right. I mean, I agree with you as far as, he probably should have done the quarterback change sooner.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm more on the side of I want to see Petty get his reps in. There's no way to really. You
get him in first. Sword. You get him in first run reps in preseason. You get him in the first run reps, all 4 preseason games, and if he continues to play at least steady, then you give him a few weeks in the regular season, and he begins to grow. You got to start a guy fresh. I mean, they didn't take Dak Prescott and start him mid-year, and he took off on the first game. He played the reps in preseason, and he went in and he tore it up. I think that's how rookie quarterbacks have to go in. You have to give them a chance right away, or you have to wait a whole season unless there's some serious injury and you've got no third stringer. You kind of want to let that guy sit if your plan is to go in with somebody else.
Now, I will mention that the only reason Bryce Petty did start was because Fitzpatrick was injured.
Right.
He hurt his knee or ankle or something.
They could have started Hackenberg
in the game. Yeah, they're redshirt freshmaning him for the next
for what
2 seasons.
though?
I have no idea.
For what?
I have no idea. It's the Jets, dude.
That's what I mean. You put out a guy like that who probably is not going to be a quarterback in this league.
Who, Hackenberg?
Yeah, Hackenberg's not going to be a quarterback in this league.
No,
he was barely a quarterback in college.
I believe, and I've read mock
Sorry,
drafts.
Penn State fans.
I've read several mock drafts where they're trying to link the Jets to what's his name?
DeShone Kizer?
Not Kizer, from Clemson. Watson.
Oh, yeah.
Watson. I don't remember his first name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Trying to link the Jets to him.
Yeah.
And they say that
Sure.
he has, if they were to get him, that would be almost equivalent to the Panthers getting Cam Newton when they did.
Well, I need to slow the roll down on that one a little bit.
Yeah, it's...
Cam
Jets
ain't
fans,
looking so Cam this year either, so...
Yeah, well, I mean... It is what it is with the Jets. You either love them or you hate them. And
right.
A lot of people hate them because they're the laughing stock of the NFL, and a lot of people like me love them because no other. So,
yep.
But all right, notable injuries to discuss. Rob Gronkowski did not practice on Wednesday, which is
after
today.
Taking one of the hardest hit he's ever taken in his life.
Punctured lung.
Yeah.
He punctured his lung.
But he's still thinking about playing.
And he's still thinking, I don't know.
That guy's an animal.
Belichick might be like, I don't think so.
Yeah, we're playing the Jets. Take a week off.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait.
The Jets
That's
are
right.
on a bye.
Who are they playing this week?
I don't remember.
Oh, man. I totally forgot. Drop the ball. Keep going.
I'll figure it out. So, Vincent Jackson did not... Good news for him is he did not tear his ACL. Bad news is he's still done for the season.
Yep.
And... sort of a sad note here. Isaiah Peed, former running back Isaiah Peed, his career is officially over.
Yep.
He was involved in a critical car crash last Saturday in Columbus, Ohio.
I forgot. Patriots are playing the 49ers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Win.
We're playing the 49ers.
Just take a week off.
There we go.
Get ready to embarrass the Jets next week.
He was a second round pick of the then St. Louis Rams in 2012, and he also played for the Steelers and the Dolphins. Coach Jeff Fisher sent his condolences. He's not really condolences, but his well wishes. He's still alive, but the road to recovery is very, very, very going to be very, very, very difficult.
Yeah,
and it sucks to hear somebody so young.
Yep.
But
so there's only one Pede left in the league. And that's the coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh. Yeah. All right. And on that note, let's go to the... There we go.
Whoa.
Yeah. The power rankings. 10-1. Remaining at number 10, the Detroit Lions. Falling down a place to number 9, the Houston Texans. Falling down 4 spots. To the number 8 spot is the Atlanta Dirty Birds. Sorry. I'm not going to play the Julio for that.
They're falling.
The New York Giants up 2 spots to number 7. Seattle up 1 spot with their victory over New England to number 6. Denver up 1 to number 5. Oakland.
They're on a bye last week.
They're on a bye last week, and they still moved up 1 spot.
Yeah.
To the number 4 spot.
The other team stunk it up.
Kansas City remains in the same spot in number 3. New England falls down 1 place to the team that rises up 1 and takes over the number 1 spot, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
So, all right, there goes that. And while I go ahead and did you say you needed me to look up to see who was playing the Patriots, or did we?
No, I already did. 49ers.
The 49ers.
Yeah,
okay.
he's going to San Francisco, where his hero played, and he says that Montana's still in a league of his own, even though he's kind of right there.
I don't disagree, but that's kind of like
that's Brady.
Well, that's kind of like LeBron saying
class of the last, man.
That's kind of like LeBron. Now he recently was like, Michael Jordan. There's no comparison.
Right.
Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
But of course everybody likes to play the game. But we're talking football, not basketball. So, all right, here we go.
Scores.
The scores from Week 10 in the National Football League. Brandon.
Yep.
Cleveland lost. 28-7 to the Ravens. The Philadelphia Eagles, 24-15 winners over the Atlanta Falcons. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers improved to 4-5. 36-10 winners over the Bears of Chicago.
Who also just lost Alshon Jeffrey to a suspension.
Yep.
Crack is whack, folks.
The first thriller of the thrilling ending of that Saturday, or Sunday, excuse me. The Denver Broncos.
Yeah. On a play that shouldn't have counted.
A play that shouldn't have counted, but it did.
Yep.
Blocked an extra point, recovered it, ran it, got the 2-point conversion. Talk about a heartbreaking way to lose a game.
Yeah.
Brandon, I'm sorry to report this. Tennessee Titans 47, Green Bay 25.
I saw the first half of it.
Chiefs improved to 7-2. Andy Reid has won 14 of his last 16.
Yeah, he's coaching it up, man.
20-17 over the Carolina Panthers. Don't sleep on them Chiefs, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Andy Reid went somewhere else, and the message is resonating. Mike McCarthy, his career's not over if he leaves Green Bay.
Los Angeles in a thriller, 9-6 over the New York Jets. I'm sarcastic. I'm sorry. The Minnesota Vikings winners.
Losers.
Losers. The Washington Redskins are the winners, 26-20 over the Minnesota Vikings. Houston Texans winners, 24-21 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars have really taken over where Cleveland left off.
Jacksonville surprised me because they looked better last season. They are terrible this year.
2-7.
They're terrible.
2-7.
They're lucky to be 2-7.
The Miami Dolphins improved to over 500. They are 5-4 with a 31-24 win over the San Diego Superchargers. The Dallas Cowboys in another thriller.
Yeah, can you talk about that Chargers game? Phillip Rivers throwing 3 interceptions in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Down 6.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't.
No, tied. They were tied, and he gave up the pick 6 to win the game.
Yep.
I don't know what happened to that, man. Rivers is playing great all year, and that was awful.
Maybe it could be the sign of knowing that the days in San Diego are numbered.
Yeah.
Dallas, 35-30 winners over Pittsburgh. The Arizona Cardinals improved to Brandon 3-4-1 for my Super Bowl picks from the NFC. 3-4-1.
They got to play the Dirty Birds this week.
Yeah, well, they're going to lose.
Who, the Dirty Birds?
No, the Cardinals. 23-20 over the 49ers. Shut up, Brandon. I'm sticking with the Dirty Birds. That's all I got. The Seattle Seahawks winners over the New England Patriots 31-24 Sunday Night Football.
Super Bowl reversal of fortunes.
Yes, indeed.
1 yard line, can't get it in.
Exactly. And the Monday night contest, Daytime Dalton went to the Meadowlands for the second time this season, looking for a second win in the Meadowlands this season.
Yep.
And lost,
did not get it.
And lost by a point, 21-20.
Yep.
Losers to the New York Football Giants, who stand at 6-3.
One of the moves of the year in that game.
A very quiet 6-3 for the New York Giants. All right,
that Odell Beckham move that he put on Pac-Man Jones to get that touchdown.
I did see that. Yep.
That was nasty.
That was crazy. All right, we are at halftime now, so we are going to go ahead, take a commercial break, and when we come back, we will talk Gear Network Pick'em for the last 2 weeks and bring back an old favorite, Like It, Love It, or Shove It. This is Football Talk Weekly on the Gear Radio Network.
Hey Gear Network listeners, we all know how busy it gets around this time of year. Taking care of your holiday shopping can get stressful. Using Amazon is a quick and easy way to get your holiday shopping done. You can go to gearnetwork.com/Amazon and click on the link to check out all the latest lightning deals that Amazon has to offer, as well as some of my top picks on gifts for everyone on your list. Anything you purchase from Amazon using the gearnetwork.com/Amazon link helps directly support our show, as well as the others offered on Gear Network, keeping us free and independent. Make it easy on yourself this holiday season and get the best deals at gearnetwork.com/Amazon.
everyone, John Cimino here for the Gear Radio Network, and you have asked and asked repeatedly, what is up with the app? We know you have one, and you never push it, you never do anything with it. Well, guess what? We got a better one, and it is free, it is absolutely available for you, and there's so much more you can do with it. Visit GearNetwork.com and click Get the App. It's up on the top banner, or if you're feeling really brave, head to gearnetwork.mobapp.at on your mobile phone and your mobile phone's browser, and you can take Gear Network with you wherever you go. Listen to every show on the Gear Network right from the app. You can view all of our social networks in real time. You can read Gear Network and BLTDsports.com blogs in real time, and you can also shop Amazon and help us out and help you out. It is free. Did I mention that? Again, GearNetwork.com or GearNetwork.mobapp.at. Download it right now.
Oh, we were just talking about this song. A friend of mine the other day.
We were. Well, we were talking about it on UFC last Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I was.
About, this would be my.
Now I remember.
This would have been my my walkout music. among another one, but anyways.
Yeah.
Also, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Brandon. They're from California.
They are.
All right. Welcome back to the Football Talk Weekly Podcast, everybody, here on the Gear Radio Network. And this portion is, of course, sponsored by our store through Amazon, shopgear.com. You can type in Red Hot Chili Peppers Love Roller Coaster, which is what you're hearing in the background right now, and you can very likely purchase that on Amazon Prime Music. So do it. It's awesome.
Or you can listen to it streaming if you have an Amazon Prime membership.
There you go.
If you don't have one, get one through our page.
And not for nothing too. If you're like, you know, I don't have Amazon Prime, I don't want that, I have iTunes, shoot me an email, bruh. I can hook you up with an iTunes link of whatever song you want or whatever album you want. Yeah, dog. Forgot that we were an iTunes affiliate.
Yep.
All right. Yep, that's right. Mm-hmm. All right, Brandon, Gear Network Pick'em. Last week, obviously, we did not meet because of certain circumstances. So, week 9, I went 10-3. Excuse me, got a little frog in my throat there. I went 10-3. You went 8-5. That brought my total to 77-56, and you 71-62. You were 6 games back.
Yep.
Week 10 happened. I went 9-5. You, however, went 10-4.
Woo! I gained a game.
You gained a game.
Down to 5.
You were the champion that week.
Champion last week. That's all that matters.
So 86-61. I am on the season. You are 81-66. 5 games back now. This week we only disagree on 2. I have the Saints. You have the Panthers. Why come?
Because it's in Carolina, and New Orleans tends to play not as great on the road.
That is a factual
Carolina's
statement.
starting to turn around too a little bit. They've played a little better in their last few games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in New Orleans coming off that heartbreaker at home, I don't know. I don't think they'll recover in time. Plus being on the road.
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
They're great in that dome, but something outside
Carolina, I mean, much like New Orleans as well. This is a toss-up game. Could really go either way because Carolina's a tale of two teams. You know, they're either Super Bowl contender like Carolina or they're 1-10 Carolina.
The thing they got going for them is New Orleans' defense is still not very good.
That is a very true story. But I'm going to take the Saints. All right, Redskins at Packers. We know why. We know why you picked the Packers.
Yep.
I took the Redskins simply because I'm not sold on the Green Bay Packers team that I'm seeing right now.
Maybe this is the motivation that they need. Is that you on our Football Talk Weekly podcast abandoned them? Aaron Rodgers is like, that son of a bitch.
Well, you know what?
I am going to show him.
Well, you know what? Then go ahead. A-Rod, show me.
And he's going to go, relax. Really creepily.
Really creepily? Is creepily even a word?
Yeah, it is now.
All right. Thank you very much for that. All right. Like it, love it, or shove it, Brandon. We got some topics here that we will talk about and throw it out there. So I'm going to take you back to week number 1.
Oh.
When we first played Like It, Love It, or Shove It, and I said, Darrelle Revis, is he elite? Is he done? And you said, right now, it is week 1. I'm going to like it. Talk to me after week 4. Well, it's now going into week 11, so I ask this again. Darrelle Revis, is he done? Like it, love it, or shove it?
I don't think he's done, but I think he's done being elite. Todd Bowles did just come out and say that he's playing fine. He's been injured. I don't know. I mean,
he was torched by Kenny Britt.
Yeah, Kenny Britt's torched some guys though too. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's elite. I don't know if he just doesn't care. I don't know if he's like, man, I still wish I was on the Patriots or the Bucks or anyone but the Jets right now. But he's not elite anymore. I'll definitely shove the eliteness, but I don't think he's terrible. But maybe his days of shutting down a 1 is not going to be there, but he can still take down a 2 or a 3.
Okay, fair enough. Tony Romo will play one more game on the field as a member of the Dallas Cowboys. Like it, love it, or shove it.
Oh, I love it because Dallas is probably going to clinch early, and they're not going to want to start Dak Prescott in week 17. And, I think that's when Romo will get out there and have his one last little glorious moment, because I don't think that anyone's going to compete for that division. Like, they're, 9-1 now?
8-1.
8-1? They got 9 games. They're still up 2 on the Giants. They're up 3 on the Redskins and 3 on the Eagles, but they've also beat the Eagles as well. Mm-hmm. And they lost to the Giants.
They lost to the Giants.
Giants could, yeah. They could split. The only real threat they're going to have is the Giants. If they win that Giants game, then it's probably curtains for that division, and they'll probably be resting some guys that final week, and Romo will play a game for the Cowboys.
Cleveland Browns, 0-16. Like it, love it, or shove it.
I'm still going to say shove it.
Still?
Yeah. There's bad teams out there.
You keep talking.
There's bad teams out there. We thought that the Lions were going to do it.
And breaking news. Former running back Isaiah Peed, who we talked about earlier,
no.
lost part of his leg.
Ouch.
In that one car accident.
Ouch.
All right.
Well, then he's never going to play again.
Yeah, that's
a given.
That is. Well,
you kind of need 2 of those to play.
Exactly. But go ahead.
There was a kicker with half a foot, so that worked. But he's not going to do that. Still needs a plant.
What's his name? Blair Walsh?
No, it was Jack Dempsey, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Dempsey had the club foot. So, anyways, they have the Steelers, they have the Giants, they have the Bengals, the Bills. The one that kind of concerns me about that 0-16 is Week 16 versus the San Diego Chargers on Christmas Eve.
So you think San Diego
could blow it? You know who else could blow it? Buffalo could totally blow it.
I would see. Yes. Cincinnati, Buffalo, and San Diego.
Cincinnati could blow it. Cincinnati's not lighting the world on fire with their 3 wins either.
So those 3 can blow it. They can totally blow it, and
they could totally run the table. But I still think they're gonna win a game. And I think 1-15 is probably most likely. 0-16, that's tough to do, man. It's tough to do.
It is.
The Lions did it. The Lions were not competitive in many games.
Yeah.
So the Browns have been competitive in some games.
All right.
I still think they're going to steal one, and it's going to be like one of those crazy plays, and they're going to win one, eke it out.
I'm going to scratch this one because we already talked about this during your Packers rant.
What was it? Will Isaiah Peed come back?
No, it was actually has Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy has lost his team, but we've already talked about that. So I'm going to improv with one here. The wild card playoff teams.
Yes.
One of them will come from the AFC East. Like it, love it, or shove it.
One of them will come from the AFC East?
Yes.
No. That's a shove it. They're both going to come out of the West.
You don't think the Dolphins have a chance?
No, because they've already got 2 more losses than the Broncos and 3 more losses than the Chiefs and Raiders. Those 3 teams are probably, barring some kind of catastrophe, are going to the playoffs.
So Buffalo.
Those are your 2
Buffalo's stretch.
Yeah,
continues.
they've been eliminated. Sorry, Buffalo. You've got 5 losses already. Kansas City doesn't look like they're going to relent.
Nope.
They got the one with Nick Foles.
14 of their last 16 regular season games, guys.
They're winning.
Kansas
the Raiders look like they're for real because their defense is now playing with their offense is doing it. Mm-hmm. The offense came back in a lot of games this year and saved their bacon because the defense wasn't playing well. Mm-hmm. But now the defense is starting to play pretty well, too. They're going to be tough. Denver's defense is always going to keep them in games. Their quarterback is starting to get better. He's starting to get more confidence. So those 3 teams aren't going anywhere, and they've only got 3 losses right now. That means the other teams have to run the table, and they have to lose 2 games.
True. Very true.
And then you have to get through some tiebreaker scenarios, too, if that even happens.
Yeah.
So
I don't even want to...
That mountain is pretty steep to climb if you're a Dolphins, Bills,
I'm going to say this
Colts,
right now.
Steelers.
The only time I'll ever be talking about tiebreaker scenarios or anything is if I see it online and I copy and paste it onto my
those
paper
things are
or
a
show
nightmare
notes
in the NFL.
I'm
I've
not
never
trying
seen
to
something
figure out.
stupider than those things.
Oh man, fine. And all right, this is not like it, love it or shove it, but this is what we're going to go home with. Next season, Tony Romo will be playing for the. Finish the sentence.
Ooh.
There are 5. I'll bring up the article on CBS.
There's teams that need him. I know the Jets are one team.
Jets were
Cleveland
one.
is probably another team that needs a quarterback.
They're always going to need a quarterback.
Jacksonville.
Really? You think they would give up on Blake Bortles?
I don't know. He doesn't look very good. It might be his expiration date coming up. Who else?
Let's see. CBS has the 5 landing spots for Tony Romo as Chicago, Denver,
no,
New York Jets,
I think Denver's set with Simeon,
Cleveland,
yep,
and San Francisco.
Maybe the 49ers.
I could see him as a 49er.
I can't see him in Chip Kelly's offense, though.
Will Chip Kelly be the coach?
Yeah, probably. I don't think he's going to be one and done.
I can't see Tony Romo as...
There's no roster. He has no roster.
I can't see Tony Romo as a New York Jet. I
couldn't see Brett Favre as one either.
I know Woody Johnson likes to make a splash.
Yeah.
And he likes to do stupid things
he usually
like
does that in the urinal, though.
Yes, he does.
City Hall's on fire. Woody's here.
Woody Johnson playing fire hose? Oh Christ! I can't see him as a bear. Realistically,
he could be a bear. John Fox would be a good fit for him.
I think he would.
John Fox,
I don't think he would do very well in cold weather.
Why wouldn't he? He played in Northern Illinois.
Yeah, but he's fragile. He hasn't played in Northern Illinois.
Yeah, but he has to play in New York against the Giants. He has to play against the Eagles. He has to play against the Redskins. Those are all East Coast teams in the cold. I don't see the cold being a problem for it. It's all relevant.
All right. Yeah, I realistically think he is...
It's been cold and snowy in some Dallas games when the roof used to be open.
Yeah, that's true.
Used to have that hole in the middle of the field and it would snow on Thanksgiving.
Hey, the hole is in the middle of the field so God can look down and watch and root for the Cowboys.
Yeah. Now he's got a big old scoreboard in his way.
Yeah.
From Jerryland.
He's got to pay to watch.
Yeah, I wouldn't disqualify him from the Bears. The Bears are going to have to figure out what to do with Smokin' Jay.
All right.
They got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Smokin' Jay. Yeah, I don't know.
I could just see it now. The Bears get rid of Jay Cutler. Tony Romo goes to Chicago.
Jay Cutler comes to New York for a draft pick. First round draft pick.
Son of a bitch. All right. That's gonna do it for us this week.
He can't continue. He just had that scenario go through his head and he's like, Smokin' Jay in New York.
Smokin' Jay.
I might have to find a new team.
All right.
Dirty Birds full time.
Dirty Birds full time, that's right. Or maybe Aaron Rodgers will win me back.
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
All right, this is the Football Talk Weekly Podcast for Week 11 of the NFL season. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, we appreciate the hits. We appreciate you shopping shopgear.com to help support this and every other podcast. And we appreciate you listening to the other podcasts on the network. And thank you. So, Brandon, let's do this again next week, shall we?
Yeah, sorry about last week.
Yes, yes. Blame Brandon for the one-man show.
We're back this week, and then we'll be back next week.
All right, very good. Well, good day to you, sir.
Good day to you as well.
So long, everybody. Good night now. Good day, good night.
Remember to see more National Football League action next week.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.